I'll start my stopwatch. So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of you, wherever you're joining me in the world. My name is Annie McKinnon. I am your authentic coach, therapist, speaker, writer, and podcaster. And if you'd like to learn a bit more about me, all you need to do is go to the KS Media Group app, click on directories, your influencer, scroll down and you'll find me there. All you need to do is click the right hand arrow, and then you will have access to my lives, to my podcasts, to my articles, and you can even book a call with me if you want to sort of look in a bit deeper, finding your authentic self and really being able to live your life much happier, much more content, and much more fulfilled. I work with people all around the world with the LGBTQ plus community and also non. But my primary clients are LGBTQ plus. So if you don't know anyone, or your friends do, please get in touch with me, book a call, and we'll get started. So, over the last few weeks, we've looked at, first of all, what it meant to us personally, what being our authentic selves meant. Yeah. And then we looked at times when we felt we've been held back from being our authentic self for whatever reason that might be. And last week, we began to look at the different ways that we can uncover our authentic self. And there was quite a lot actually came out of that session. I'm sure that we all benefited from. But this week, I'd like to have a chat about what it is we can look for in other people to really suss out if they're being authentic. So, anyone get any ideas? Have you been in a position where you're like, I know this person is not being real with me, but you've found a way to work out whether they are being authentic or not? Susan?
I'm a coach for women. I call myself a confidence coach, and I feel energy. I've honed my intuition. So oftentimes I could hear, but I feel. Sometimes the way I say it is, it feels to me like someone else told you that about you, and you've held on to that. So I could have this sense. And then when I work through, then they were like, sometimes often they say, yeah, wow, that is something my mother said or my brother, or whatever. So sometimes I could feel this sensibility that there's something more.
Sure, and I bet you even feel that over a Zoom meeting because I know I do.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing is we're going back to those values and beliefs. Is it you that's thinking or feeling that? Or is that other voice that you talk about coming from someone else? So I really love that, Susan. Thank you. Peggy?
You're muted.
Um, I think sometimes if I'm around somebody who's extremely negative, I feel like they're not happy with themselves because they really don't know who they are. So they're just living a miserable life. I know we all have bad days, but if it's somebody who's consistently pessimistic about everything, I think sometimes that's a sign they're just not happy.
Mm. I totally get that, Peggy, because I've had some people, as I'm sure the rest of you have, people around you, where you just feel that negative energy. And I totally get it that people, well, my belief is that people really need to find out who they really are and at their core, taking away all those beliefs that other people have told them and find who they are at their core in order to become authentic. Hey, Kate.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So the first thing I thought of when you asked that was a guy was talking to me this summer and he was saying, you know how when people get drunk and they're like a completely different person, like maybe they're really nice normally, but they get drunk and then they're like just a mean asshole, or, sorry to say that, but
Huh? No, you're so
he said,
right, mean assholes.
Yeah, and he said to me, he said, that tells me that that person is not being real in his real daily life, right? And I thought about that and I thought, it's so true, when, and it doesn't just apply to alcohol. I think to any time we show a need to use something, whether it's food or alcohol or, shopping or whatever it is that we use to soothe ourselves or to feel like we're whole, it's an indication that we're not actually in touch with our authentic self.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think sometimes it can work the other way about, maybe with people who feel really introverted and don't use their voice. And then when they have, a substance to relax them, then the real person comes out. So it's
Right.
really difficult, isn't it, to work out if someone is truly being their authentic self.
Yeah, I hate to think you have to get them drunk to find out, but but really I think it's just looking, because I work with clients that, have um eating addictions and that sort of thing. And it's like, you're trying. I think when you're walking in your authentic self, you don't have the need for those things. So
Yeah,
just helping people understand that and find that authentic self, which
yeah.
I love to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because with it, as Susan's talked about, comes that confidence in yourself, that belief in yourself that you don't need any other external sources to make you happy because you're naturally happy because you're living in your own skin. And I really love that. Really love that. I mean, personally, I know if I'm with anyone and they're not being their authentic self, I get this feeling of real sadness that
Mm.
they're not able to have that trust to be their authentic self and just be real and just be who they are. And I often wonder, what is it that's holding that person back? Is it me or is it something from their past? It's just a really interesting subject, I think, and we could go on all day about it. But for me, people that are being authentic, I normally find that they don't need people to like them. They're just their self. Yeah, they just don't really give a shit.
That's a good one. That's such a good one, Annie, because as we're growing up, we're told, it's like shown to us in society that the more friends you have, the more popular you are. That's how you like yourself. For girls, I work with
Yeah,
women. I'm not speaking for boys because I don't have brothers, I mean, I have one brother, no sons, etc. But for girls, I call that maturing into the
yeah.
comfort in your own skin.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Susan. And another thing that people are authentic is that they accept their own faults. They know they mess up, but they go, hey, I've messed up. Move on. They don't judge others and they respect everyone no matter what. Yeah. So, and the other thing, a really important thing, is what they say aligns with their behavior. So their actions align with what they say. So that's another little tip for picking up if someone is not being authentic with us. So I have a challenge for you between now and next week. I would like you to become aware of when you are being authentic and more importantly, when you're not, and challenge yourself to bring that authenticity out in an appropriate way, of course. And also look out for it in others. If you get that little nagging feeling, thinking, that person ain't being real, then find a way, an appropriate way to speak to that person, and then we can just get those dominoes rolling and encourage other people to be their authentic self. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking your time out your busy schedules, and I know how busy they are. And again, if you want to contact me, KS Media Group app, directories, your influencer, and you'll find me there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.